Hi there, my name is Brittany Williams, and I'm working with Stephanie Ding and Chris Aurora to teach you a little bit about algorithmic bias. So you might be wondering, what is algorithmic bias? So artificial intelligence, or AI, refers to an algorithm trained on data to respond to a specific situation in a pre-programmed way. And algorithmic bias arises when social prejudices are inherently programmed into the AI by the programmer, and this can be through lack of training data or inappropriately contexted training data, but we'll get into a little of that later. To talk a little bit about the advancements in the field of algorithms, there are many positive applications of AI that are currently being used. Just to name a few, there's automatic language translation on social media and on other sources. We're able to recognize objects and images. This is really helpful for people who are vision impaired, and they can actually be described photos online. And for self-driving cars, they can actually recognize different signals around them and understand when they should stop, when they should go, pedestrians in the road. But getting into the dark side of algorithms, with the rapid advancements in the field of algorithms, there have been some negative unforeseen consequences, such as sexist automatic language translation. So that's where we have gender-neutral languages that will automatically be transferred into or translated into he or she based on the context of what's being done in that language, such as cooking and being associated with women and doctors being associated with men. We could have biased image recognition. So there's issues with this, with people of different ethnic origins being recognized differently or not being recognized at all as people, and this can even lead to ethical dilemmas. So one of the issues with self-driving cars and pedestrians is that cars need to understand when a pedestrian is walking in the road and visualize that person, understand they're a person, and then stop. However, if these self-driving cars are not trained on the right data, then they may not recognize a person at all as a person, and this could lead to serious injury or something more serious.
So moving into bias, Amazon Recognition is an AI facial analysis service deployed by law enforcement that has been shown to exhibit gender and racial bias in classification. And the reason for this is that datasets used to commonly test these sorts of software are composed of high percentages of white, pale males, as Facebook was scrutinized for in 2014. So why are algorithms biased? Well, bias is largely a product of the data fed into the algorithm. Given this data is formed and is a product of our society, it's inherently biased to start with. Algorithms taught on biased data will not only learn the bias, but also reinforce its presence, hence not filtering out things like racism and sexism that exist in our society. So where does this bias originate from? Bias comes from gender, race, class, and other sociological factors. And an example of this was that in Amazon's internal resume screening system, candidates with the word women's in their resume, or women, were discriminated against and hence got lower scores than male candidates. So where does the issue exist? Going back to recognition, the Washington County Sheriff's Office in Oregon was not utilizing a confidence threshold that determines whether a match between the algorithm and a database of suspects is made. As you can see by the misclassification of Oprah Winfrey, this can be a huge issue in law enforcement. The potential pitfalls of bias have called for an ethical evaluation of such softwares. Ethically, when dealing with law enforcement, any amount of unwarranted police scrutiny is unacceptable. This has happened with similar softwares in the UK. There is a real need to protect civil liberties when utilizing such softwares.
If we continue producing biased algorithms and technology and accepting them as the status quo, more than likely a positive feedback loop will occur. Algorithms get their shaky, already biased foundations from humans and biased training data, and then continue to learn from themselves, becoming more biased in the process. Today, software engineers literally have an ethical obligation to help mitigate the issue of biased algorithms. The joint ACM and IEEE Software Engineering Code of Ethics state that all software engineers shall act consistently with the public interest and should maintain the integrity of data, being sensitive to outdated or flawed occurrences. Technology inevitably reflects its creators. Given the extremely homogeneous AI talent pool, there is no surprise that technology is biased. Eliminating bias means assembling a team of people from non-standard backgrounds, such as sociologists, writers, creatives, and more. Bias testing would also help account for blind spots created by the lack of diversity in terms of who builds AI. Excitingly, in December 2017, New York City passed an algorithm accountability bill requiring any city agency that wants to use automated technology to make their source code public, as well as use data submitted by New Yorkers to train their algorithms. This is a huge step in making sure current technology remains accountable and accessible to the public. With AI-driven technologies becoming increasingly commonplace and quickly integrating into a part of everyday lives, we need to ask ourselves, when is it acceptable to prioritize the speed of technological advancement over humanity? We can use AI as an opportunity to be more responsible and create technology that is inclusive and beneficial to all.